My name is Emma Powell. I'm from Haverhill, Massachusetts. I'm class of 2020. I'm a history and classics double major, and my major involvements at Holy Cross were the Student Government Association, Eco Action, and HC Fossil Free, which is the divestment campaign on campus. So I think sort of the common idea behind Foreign with Others is direct service, which of course it's a huge component. But for me, I've kind of gone towards my Foreign with Others values in a different way in terms of community organizing. Specifically this year, it was sort of a catalyst for my environmental change that I did on campus. And I really believe that policy change and advocacy work is a huge part of living out your values and how you can do that in a community organizing setting. And there was a few things that we did that I think really kind of highlight how we were able to get our campus and our institution to really care about environmental awareness. The first one thing would be the youth climate strike, which happened at the beginning of the year in conjunction with the chaplain's office. And it was the first time I've seen a large scale show up for the environment on campus in a way like that. And we all gathered on the dine-in steps and then joined Worcester community organizers who were also setting out goals for climate justice, things like that. And then the Green Fund is a fund that we passed this year that's $30,000 worth of grant money for students to apply for environmental projects. So I really recommend incoming first years to look into how they can get a project funded through that, because it was a lofty policy goal that we had and we finally were able to pass it. And so that was something that was really great. And then we hired a sustainability director this year, which is going to be great, and recommend reaching out to her to first years. And then Purple Goes Green Week is something that we do every year. And we were able to keep doing that amidst virtual learning. So all these things I think really show sort of Form with Others through policy and education that sometimes you kind of neglect as part of that statement. And I think it's a really important thing. So I always say anything that I sort of did at Holy Cross was influenced by others and the connections that I made there. So my first year after taking environmental science, there was upperclassmen that really influenced my path in going into environmental and sustainability work on campus. The first person would be Marie Therese Kane, who graduated in 2018. She was the head of the divestment campaign at the time, and she recruited me, and I just kind of saw her passion for environmental issues and the way that she really used the college's mission to drive her work and her organizing, that she really influenced me to want to get involved, just because I wanted to be like her and I really looked up to her. And then another was CJ Apria, who was from the same class, and he was in my position for SGA. He was the director of environmental concerns, and same sort of thing. Like, he really helped me foster my interest in environmentalism on campus, and those two leaders kind of helped me to craft who I wanted to be on the college and kind of served as a model. And then professors are always people that kind of influenced me, particularly Stephanie Ewell was a professor in the history department who was a really great advisor and mentor to me. She helped me really realize that through academia, I could also work on social work and like work on things that mattered. I worked particularly on an LGBTQ history exhibit, and that kind of opened my eyes to, hey, in the classroom, you can also be working on advocacy work and you can apply these values of Foreign with Other within the classroom. And then finally, the chaplains have really helped me with spiritual growth and sort of coming back and reflecting on the things that I was doing every day and taking time to kind of grow within myself. Mary Beth was somebody who helped me plan the climate strike and the whole chaplain's office as a whole, and she has been a great support network. And then also the Spring Break Immersion program really allowed me to kind of go into communities and see what community organizers were doing in the real world. And I was greatly influenced, especially on my trip to St. Louis this year and the organizers there. And just the Spring Break Immersion trip as a whole really helped me to kind of see service in action, I guess. So I went to St. Louis not really knowing that the program was going to be kind of based in racial justice and Black Lives Matter and sort of that whole movement that some would argue started in St. Louis. And going there and kind of meeting organizers and having really tough conversations with my peers about these things has made me much more well equipped to have these same sort of conversations now, given everything that is happening and the racial injustice that's going on in the country right now and the protests that are happening. I think that trip really gave me a lot of vocabulary that I might have not had before, especially in talking to people that might disagree with you or might try to sort of play a devil's advocate or something like that. I come from a police family, and to be able to go on a trip like that and have a better understanding of, okay, like how to describe sort of the racial injustices going on was really, really important. And to just see organizers in practice really inspired me to, whatever city I end up moving to after this, I want to be involved in a sort of Black Lives Matter coalition group of some sort. And I want to continue to be a better ally, if not an accomplice. That was a word that they would throw around a lot on my spring break immersion trip. Is anybody can say that they're an ally, but to really be an accomplice is to be doing the hard policy work of standing against police brutality, things like that, and showing up where you're needed, and not just kind of saying, oh, I support you, but to like actually back it up with action. So I think that trip inspired me to want to get involved with that more. And that will actually kind of cascade into our next question, but yeah. So something that I think is really, really important is active allyship from the day that you step foot in Holy Cross, because my biggest regret my freshman and second year of college is that I wasn't more involved with MSOs and inclusion and things like that. And I kind of was just trying to make my way, and I never really put my neck on the line to do things that were active allyship until I became an upperclassman. So I really, really, really encourage like first years to challenge themselves to be friends with all walks of life and every single person that might not have a similar experience of you, because I truly believe that you become a better person by creating friendships and allyships through communities that you might not relate to. I think that's kind of huge importance for emotional intelligence and developing your empathy and your ability to be a good person. So that would be something that I would challenge first years to do, is coming in, go to MSO events, talk to people that you might not look like you, things like that, and really, really, really pressure yourself at the beginning to try to make that change, because I think that's something that Holy Cross sometimes struggles with and that we need to do better.